Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment of our program brought to you by El Chico. Since I first got out of UT and moved into Woodgate Apartments out there in North Knoxville, I have been a fan of El Chico Mexican Restaurant, and that's going on 25 years now because I am old. Authentic Mexican recipes, Tex-Mex flavors, and just the kind of happy hour that you want to close out the day. El Chico off the Merchants Drive exit. You see the address right there, El Chico. Hey, also, you can help us out. Join us Wednesday, February 21st. The times are correct there. 6 p.m. our doors open. It runs till 8:30. Then UT plays Florida at 9 o'clock. You can watch part of it with us, or you can go over to the game. But what we're doing is a benefit for Friends of Literacy, which is a great organization. All the money stays right here in Knox County in terms of teaching adults to read, folks who fell through the cracks. It's your chance to meet all of us from the Sports Source. We'll all be down there, and you can ask questions of some of our Sports Source VFLs, Sterling Hinton, Bobby Scott, Daniel Hood, Shazon Bradley. We've got Lamarcus Thompson, J.J. Settles. A bunch of guys going to be there. For tickets, $14.99. We're going to do a memorabilia auction as well. We've only got limited seating, so email me at john@MrSEC. I'll tell you how to buy the tickets. john@MrSEC.com. We invite you to come out and meet us, and I really hope you'll join us for this good cause. Thank you very much. Ryan and Josh, let's talk about position groups. Give me a spot that stands out to you because Tennessee either filled that need or didn't fill that need. Josh.
I'll start with filling a need, and I know they would have liked to have added one more player here, but the offensive line. Tennessee was able to sign 4 players up front on the offensive line, and they need to add more in the future. They do, but you have a couple of guys that are already on campus in Ollie Lane and Jerome Carvin, and Carvin's a guy that Tennessee was able to land right before the early signing period and got him to announce on signing day back in December. So 4 guys up front on the offensive line. I think they would have liked a 5th member, but that's a good start up front.
Ryan, give me a position group they didn't fill the need.
I'll also give them credit for the defensive line. 6 defensive linemen in a year. They didn't have to have that as a good start, switching to a new scheme. But obviously at cornerback, I think is where they clearly fell short.
But they said there wasn't a need.
Yeah, who says that's a need?
Yeah, they signed 3 total, or they have 3 total defensive backs in their class. Now the problem is none of those really were announced, or only one of those was announced on signing day because 2 of them still are just committed and not officially signed. So you have. It did look better than the actual signing class Tennessee announced on Wednesday because you have Joseph Norwood and Brandon Davis who did not sign with Tennessee just yet. So 3 defensive backs in this class, though, when you probably needed at least 3 true cornerbacks, and only one of the guys they have right now is a true cornerback. Clearly could have used at least one more guy at that position.
Okay, let me ask the two of you this. You went through this as the first year. People have clamored for an early signing period forever, and they said, well, if you do that, it's going to help these big-name schools. No, it'll help the smaller schools. It'll help the big recruits. No, it'll be great for the smaller recruits. Do you have an answer yet as to who this benefited?
I think it's a little bit of both. First of all, for the guys who signed early, I think it helped some of the smaller schools be able to lock up some guys who would have ended up at bigger schools had they waited until February to sign. The guys who waited around, you saw some guys kind of trade up and end up at bigger schools than some people maybe would say they should have ended up at because that was all that's left on the market. Who it hurt, I think, clearly was new coaches. Jeremy Pruitt and his staff suffered from the fact that 3/4 of the players were gone after the early signing period, and that made it hard for new staffs. Nebraska dealt with the same thing, looking around, trying to fill needs, and there's just not enough players left on the market to fill them.
Josh, who won?
Yeah, I feel like big schools that are established and have coaches that are in place where you have stability. Georgia with Kirby Smart. Miami, actually, with Mark Richt, they have a nice signing day. You have James Franklin in place at Penn State, Urban Meyer at Ohio State. So they're able to take advantage. Clay Helton at USC, where they didn't have a lot of change. They were big winners.
All right, very good. When we come back, Jeremy Pruitt said a couple things this week that I have said before on the show that I love, and we'll tell you what those are. And he said something else, and I want to see what these guys think of that. I think they're going to like it. We'll discuss Jeremy Pruitt and more of his comments. That's coming up next on the Sports Source. Come on back.